Good morning, everybody. This is a longer video, and this is about clearing the canvas and self-care. So this is all about what would be fruitful for us to do pre-event. The event is coming up, and right now, really our main task is not building, going out, or doing 1,000 things. Right now, we need to clear our canvas, ourselves, clear our energies, karmas, stories, patterns, all of that, and work on our self-care. So I'm going to talk about that, and I'm going to explain a little bit what things will be beneficial to integrate. I'm going to talk about why. I'm going to show you energetically how that works and how clearing your own canvas and self-care actually helps other people. I'm going to share some tips and more, okay? So before we even get started, if this is one of your first videos you're watching me, I know my writing is very small. Most of it is just pinpoints for me to remember all the points that I want to share with you, but I'm using this board more for the diagram. And second off, this year, just as a reminder, is an ascension year. Today we've been going through massive changing, purging, emotional roller coastering. This has been happening in a mass scale. There's certain multiple different astrological events and different cycles in place that has been promoting this change. And then as well, next year is expansion year. Next year is the year to expand, to go out and really go running. Right now we're just taking one step after another. We've had quite a busy year, a lot of purging, and now we're just slowly taking one step after the other. And it starts with self-care. It starts with cleaning our own canvas. So I'm gonna just quickly explain straight away with a diagram to give you a little bit of a visual of why it's important. So this is us very beautifully sitting down, right, in a meditative position. Now our inspiration, our information comes from higher sources, right? From higher sources, from up above, down, through our crown chakra, and it inspires us. So we have the conscious and unconscious mind. Now, our conscious mind is here right now saying, I need peanut butter, I need to do this, I need to do that. It's the masculine side, it's the left side of our brain. The right side of our brain is more connected to our feminine side, is also more connected to our unconscious mind. Our unconscious or subconscious mind is connected to our phobias, our inspiration, our connection, our intuition, all of those things. And that side of the brain is more working with higher realms. So information is either planted there or inspired by higher sources, by higher inspiration that sets itself in the subconscious mind, and we creatively have inspiration and intuitions. Another way that our subconscious can be programmed is through the conscious mind. If the conscious mind is seeing things in this dimension, in this world, happening over here, the conscious mind can pick it up, store it into the subconscious, and start to program that person. This is how programming in the matrix works. So for example, every time you see a movie with war and rapings and pillaging and all of this stuff, that's talking, you're seeing that with your conscious mind, and your subconscious mind, if you're watching that over and over again, is registering that, and that can turn into fears and phobias, and now you're kind of scared to walk out in the streets at night. Your conscious mind is scared to walk out at streets at night because your subconscious mind has been programmed with that fear. Does that make sense? So I'll do a whole video about programming, how the matrix is programming you, how to deprogram yourself. But to even get to that point, you need to be, it would be beneficial to start with clearing the canvas and self-care. Okay, so let me just rub this out because we went a little bit off track there. So from up above, we get our inspiration, our connection to higher sources, our higher selves, talking with our guides. All of that stuff is from from up above, right? So I'm gonna also make some more space here. We get that information from up above downwards. Now, and it arrives through our crown chakra and then spreads through our body. So what happens is in life, when we have trauma, that kind of builds into our etheric body. Around us, we have like an aura, an etheric body. And every time we have fear, that happens. Every time we have a trauma, every time we had a feeling we didn't express, that builds up there. Every time kids made fun of us and we just took it and we never dealt with our anger, that's there. Every time someone broke up with us and we feel lots of pain and we didn't deal with those emotions, that's there. Every time we were mean and we didn't forgive ourselves for being mean because we're just learning and human and we're in a learning process, that builds up there. Every time, something traumatic happens to us and that we didn't release, childhood traumas, heartbreaks, mostly it's just emotions that we're not dealing with. This kind of starts to happen, see? And all of that starts to build into our energetical bodies. And you can see if there's information coming from up above, now there's a lot of blockage. You see that? All of these layers of stuff, our shadow selves, all of our traumas, fears, phobias, is blocking our inspiration. It's blocking our higher self. It's blocking all of this fantastic source of information, of knowledge, of truth is coming through, but it's being blocked, right? So, the thicker this blockage is, the less of this inspiration can come in, right? So, for example, say we have a lot of blockage, maybe 10% of this information, this inspiration is coming down into our crown and we are inspired. You know, in meditation we're getting answers and clarity, but just about 10%. The potential is we can get 100%, but right now we're at 10%. Okay, if you keep on adding these layers and you've never dealt or cleared your canvas or done your shadow work, this gets so thick you get, 0% of inspiration. So, people who had a hard life and they're robbers now and they're mean people and they're gangsters, they have so much layered up here that the goodness, the brightness within them isn't being inspired from up above. So, just to add, in all of us, every single one, we have a beautiful, shining soul, a shining light that is bright. But the more stuff we have accumulated and not dealt with and let go of, this bright light that we all have diminishes. And how this light becomes stronger and how it's powered, if you will, this is like a little solar station, energy solar plant, is by our higher sources, by our higher self, by our realizations, by our intuition, by all of that beautiful energy from above. So, if that is not coming down and powering our light within, our light gets darker and darker and darker. So we had a really hard life and we never had support, then of course someone who, was stealing and doing all these things, they might become a gangster. Maybe they're murdering people and doing all these horrible things. They have a bright light within, but they have no way to get to it. So we need compassion for all of us, right? It's not their fault. They didn't decide to be a horrible person. They were born in this world with a bright light and then things happened. And perhaps maybe not the right guidance was there, not the right wisdom, not the right knowledge, not the right support systems. And that's sad. So really when we see these people that are doing all these, let's say, horrible things, actually that is just a reflection of our failure as humanity to have a good support system. Yeah. So that's sad and that needs to change and we are changing that. So imagine we start to do some shadow work. We're starting to get rid of some of these traumas, childhood traumas, forgiving our parents, forgiving ourselves. Yeah, well, look. Now, suddenly, more inspiration can come in. We had 10%, now we're at 20%. Now we're at 40%. Now we're at 80%. You see? Now a lot more of this inspiration can come up and fill us up so that we know the right answers, what to do, what is right, what is wrong, with not a doubt, our clairvoyancy, audiency, our connection to higher sources, ourselves, our connection and love to others, our heart space opens up, we shine a brighter light, we resonate at a higher frequency, because this is frequencies that are coming in, that are activating our own frequency, thus our frequency is being raised, we're raising our own vibration, and beautiful things can happen then. Right? So this is beneficial. If we want to share with others, if what our calling is to help others, we share our light, our information, our inspiration outwards in the world. So let's see if I can get another color here. We share our inspiration out in the world. So let's say this is coming outwards, right? Now I want to draw a picture here. If we get our inspiration, our love, our divinity from up above. If there is blockage, we are missing out on 20%, 30%, 40% of that truth. Right? It's kind of filtered down, it's watered down. We have truth, we have a little bit of guidance, but we don't have strong guidance all the time. It's not the whole picture. We get 20% of the picture, it's blurry. So we put that in us and we take that for how we need it. Then it goes through our filter. Now our filter has all of these traumas, fears, anxieties, etc. So this beautiful 20% light that came in gets watered down again, filtered down with our stuff, our shadow stuff. So now this 20% became, 5% of truth. Then we are gonna share this with the world, and when we share it out with the world, again, we have all these traumas and stuff. So where it comes in, it fills us up. We have our things, our issues, it went down to 5%. This is how we understood it. Now we want to translate this information to other people. Again, it has to go out through all of our energetical stuff, our layers. Again, it's being watered down, it's being filtered. So that 5% just became 2%. Now what we're sharing out in the world with others, our students, the people we want to help, our loved ones, our family, our brother, our sisters, is 2% of the 20% of truth and inspiration we got from above. Now that's not really beneficial. That's not really cool. Because what we would love to share with others is we could be a pure channel. This is a channel, right? The information is going through a tunnel here, out a tunnel there. If we could keep the information here at 20%, it stays here at 20%, and it goes out to others at 20%. If we're keeping 20, 20, 20, this is a pure channel. We're not filtering, we're not changing it, we're not changing our truth because of programmed fears and stories and past life experiences and traumas and karmas and all of that stuff, right? And in fact, if we start doing our shadow work, if we start working on ourselves, on our traumas, love department, all of the different departments, we could really get this whole energetical field of muck, if you will, really diminish it by far, right? So imagine now if we diminished so much of our traumas that we could be getting 80% of inspiration, of knowledge, of higher wisdom, of channelings, of our higher selves, different spirits, different dimensions, whatever, however you relate to it. The voices of God. We get that 80%, it stays with us 80% to help us, make us strong, shine our bright light even more. Our light is brightening up, and then we share it with the world at 80% because we are a pure channel. We are not filtering the truth. We are just not here to manipulate truths, even if truths are uncomfortable for you. If that is coming through, that's the truth, and we gotta, state those truths. And if we're changing it because we think better, then who are we to question our higher sources? Who are we to change, let's say, God's words? Who are we to change, our inspirations? Truth is truth. So we share that truth with others, because it is not for us to manipulate truth. It is for people to choose their own truth. Give them truth, and then they can decide what to do with the truth, to believe it or not. Sometimes in a reading, for example, I have to tell someone, I don't know, some information comes through like, hey, lately you've been a really angry person and you've been really mean to your wife, for example. And, that's hard for me to say, like I'm really pointing someone out, or, they could take it that way. So I could choose not to say that, but for some reason that information came to me. For some reason my higher sources told me to tell this person that he's being mean to his wife and he's angry with his wife. So who am I to judge? Because I am just a channel. I am just in service. I am just delivering a message, and it is not, the FedEx, for example, the deliverer of the message. It's none of their business to manipulate the message in that envelope. And it's none of my business to manipulate information. I am a channel to give information from above, work on myself as much as possible so I can be the purest of channels that I can be. And then I share that information with others. Right? So spiritual light warriors, light workers, healers, etc., it is our duty, it is our task to clear our canvas, to do self-care, because otherwise we have so much blockage, we are not functioning at our most highest and beneficial selves, right? Does that make sense? I hope so. So yeah, that's kind of how this works. So I hope you all see that the more you connect to your higher sources and you work on this connection here, it brightens up your light, which will help you with this connection over here when you're sharing information. So the more you work on this, the more you help others, right? Because you will be at your full percent and you will be getting the most inspiration, and then you can actually be helpful to others. If you're only giving 5% of that information, you could not even just not be helping people. You could sometimes be harming people unknowingly. How many times do we go out in the world and we're like, oh, we really want to help, but we're so scattered and busy, unless we go to our friend's house and we wanted to help them pack or unpack their stuff, and we ended up crying on their couch and telling them all our problems, and now we didn't help them. We actually didn't help our friend who asked for our support to unpack these boxes, and now we're just giving them a harder time, right? That's not really beneficial. So clearing our canvas and self-care, that's one picture I want to draw up for you. The other one was, if we are a whole, we are all one, we are part of one whole organism, right? This is the world, for example. We are one, everything and everybody and every being and plant is one with this organism. And we are all, you could say, all beings are cells of the organism of this planet, Mother Earth. We are all cells. We're all beings, right? Now, if some of these beings are not their fullest self, they're not working on themselves, they're not the brightest light that they can be every day, some of these cells, like I said, the ones that have trauma and haven't worked, and they go to the darkness, if you will. They end up stealing, they end up doing these things. So these are like cancer cells, if you will, right? So if, you're people who haven't had the support, haven't had the right love, and thus they just, act out of anger and fear, and you can see now the whole picture is starting to get little cancer cells, if you will, And these cancer cells can, you know, connect to another cell who didn't have cancer and turn them into a little cancer cell. And then they multiply. And then they carry on. And then soon enough, the whole organism can get cancer. Or all these other cells that are here, they're not just doing nothing, they're being the brightest light that they can be. We are working on ourselves so we can be bright, so we may inspire others to be brighter lights, so we may be strong cells because we realize that every cell affects the whole. One cancer cell within all of these cells affects the rest. Us working on ourselves and being a bright light affects others through inspiration, through resonance, through the frequency, through the collective consciousness, through however you want to see it, but it does. And if our lights are so bright, then these cancer cells, we can diminish them and we can inspire them. So soon we have no cancer cells because we are one healthy, living organism working together, and we realize whatever we do, every choice we make every day, whether it is choosing to go out of your house with a smile, to buy a little bit less plastic, to remember to wash yourself, remember to meditate, remember to take some time out for yourself, some time out for family, whatever we do affects the whole. And really, it really doesn't matter what you do, as long as it has a positive frequency. Whatever we do, as long as it's a positive frequency, it affects the rest. Because honestly, there is no better and worse than. You know, someone who gives 1,000 trees isn't better than someone who gives 20 trees. We do what we can with what we have. The point is, are you doing something negative? Are you doing something positive? If you're doing something positive, it is helping you, yourself, and everybody in there. If you're doing something negative and you know it, if you are eating, you know, negative food and you are throwing your trash on the beach and you are putting toxins into the water and all of these things, and you realize and you knowingly are doing it, then that has a negative effect on everybody, on yourself, on all these, you know, other cancer cells, and thus on the whole world and the whole organism. So every day, every moment, we have a choice. Are we going to make a positive impact, a negative impact? Someone who plants 1,000 trees to 1 tree, there is no better or worse. Someone may have a little bit more money, the other one doesn't. It's not about that. It is not a pissing competition. It is not like, ooh, I helped 10 people and I helped 1. Maybe just helping yourself is all that needs to be done. Maybe just helping 1 ant to not drown is enough. Right? It's really not better or worse. So please get those things out of your mind. It's just very simple. Is it positive or is it a negative frequency impact? And every day we have those choices. Every day when we meet people, when we go out in the world, we see a grandma on the street. Do we want to ignore her or do we want to help her cross the street? We see a plastic bag blowing in the wind across our feet. There's no one there. Are we going to ignore it? Or are we going to pick up that plastic bag? Every day we have a choice. Every moment we have a choice. And every choice we make in every moment affects the whole. Every moment. And if we made the more negative choice, that's okay. We find self-forgiveness, we forgive ourselves, and we know that in a few seconds, a day, a moment, there will be another choice to be made. And maybe after making those negative choices once, twice, 100 times, we may choose to do the positive choice. That is life. That is the journey. Life is the journey. The destination is, yeah, we want to be better people. If we would just be perfect, you know, then we might as well be dead and we go back to where we came from and we're done. We are here to learn. We are here to better ourselves. We are here on this journey of this push and pull between negative and positive and, you know, and learning about ourselves. So we have to do it with kindness, with laughter. Oh, there I go, Chata. Doing that silly thing again. You're eating those donuts and you know they're not good for you and that's not a positive impact to yourself and others. Well, maybe tomorrow we are not going to eat donuts. And maybe I fail tomorrow because I had a little bit of an emotional day and I wanted comfort food, and I was well aware that I was comforting my pains with food and I want to change that. But I just can't. Okay, I'll do one more donut. And the next day I have another choice. Chata, you have some emotional stuff going on, donuts. No. Today, no donuts. I choose an apple. I choose to call up a friend and talk about it. Every day we have a choice, and it's a journey. Can take 20, 10 years, your lifetimes to learn lessons. It's okay. It's absolutely okay. And know that our brothers and sisters are going through the same thing. So have compassion and forgiveness and understanding for where they're at. Right? People who are still, when I was younger, I did silly things. I burnt ants with fire. Yeah, we did silly things. So if I see other people burning ants with fire, I would say like, hey, that's not really cool right now. But I wouldn't dislike them or give them a really hard time. I would say, hey, I want to explain something to you. Do you realize these are living animals? And with compassion, you explain it, because once upon a time, I was that person. I was burning ants with fire. I didn't know better. I was just a kid playing with the boys. Now I know better. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, I want to talk a little bit about clearing the canvas and self-care. These are things that if we want to help others or ourselves, our families, or if we do have a calling of, sharing, being teachers, healers, etc., this is vital. It is not selfish. It is, as a beautiful friend of mine said, selfness. Through selfness and self-care, we can affect the bigger picture, right? Okay, so first of all, it is important to work on ourselves, clearing ourselves, right? And self-mastery. Self-mastery is doing meditation, doing these things, yoga, working on our body, mind, and soul in different aspects, getting rid of, doing something that is scary for us, going to an open mic because we're scared to talk in public, sharing a deep down secret trauma from our past with a good friend so we can release it. Go and get a massage once a month, do body work. Are you afraid of being touched or hugged because you had a lack of love? Go ask a friend, can you hug me more often because I'm trying to get over that fear. Self-mastery, clearing ourselves, putting ourselves into challenges so we can grow. That's what life is, full of challenges. Every hard moment, every anger moment, every scary moment is an opportunity for growth. I welcome those moments. The bigger the better. The bigger the harder it is. Oh yeah, and tears and misery. But always, those were my most important growth moments of my life. And I would do them hands down, 1,000-fold, again and again and again. So it's so important to take care of ourselves, clearing ourselves on a daily basis, all the time. Self-mastery. So what we want to do is clearing our own karma. We have karma from past, if you believe in that, from other timelines. We have, depending on our bloodlines, there's karma within that. We have karmas with others, contracts we have made with twin flames, other soul beings, different lessons. Beneficial to clear our karmas. There are many ways we can do this, and I think that would be a different video. Letting go. Letting go of stuff that we've been holding on to. Letting go of traumas. Letting go of emotions that we haven't expressed. Healing. Releasing our traumas. Releasing our blockages. Our old stories. Our old patterns that are not serving us anymore. Every moment we went through hardship, it was just a lesson. Right? Someone was really mean to me and they shouted at me and I said nothing back and I let them make me feel horrible. I allowed that. And that was a lesson for me. That was a lesson for me to express my truth. I could have taken that lesson and the next time that happened to me, I could say, hey, that doesn't work for me, please don't shout at me, this is not nice. Or I could have not learned that lesson, and now for the rest of my life I have trauma, and anyone who raises their voice, I run away. So there are lessons we are holding on to that we haven't cleared yet, that could turn into phobias, that could turn into OCD, that could turn into many, many different things, and to fear, anxiety attacks, all of these things, because we have not cleared them, we have not dealt with them. Okay, releasing our lessons, releasing our patterns. What are our coping habits? I used to comfort food, overeating because we're not dealing with our emotions and we want to avoid our emotions, drinking and partying because we don't want to deal with our emotions and our past life traumas, getting rid of these patterns we know that are not serving us, pushing people away because you're scared to love and you're scared to that people see the true you and they won't love you for who you are. We all have a beautiful light within us. We all deserve love. We are all always loved. Attachments, getting rid of any attachments that are unhealthy. If we think that we will die without our partner, without our lover, that we will not survive this world without a certain person, this is an attachment. Starting to let go of the attachment, start to become a fuller circle. Yes, it enhances us to have partners and family and people around us. That enhances us, but we are not utterly, totally dependent on them, that if they would be gone, our whole world crumbles. There are healthy attachments and there are unhealthy attachments. Finding a balance in our attachments is key. Karmic contracts, spoke about that a little bit. All this karma stuff, karma is a tough one and it's hard. It's like heart yoga. Sometimes you meet people and all you have to do is like play out a certain scene. A lot of times, your past, say you were brother and sister in a different timeline, then that same scene kind of works itself out. So you can replay those scenes, or you can be open and communicate it and open a space and honestly say, hey, I'm having these funny feelings towards you. I don't know why, and I'm being really mean and silly with you, and I wonder what that's about. Open the conversation, do some, healing, some breath work, whatever, meditation together. Clearing karma is with action. If you see you have a problem with someone and for some reason there's some, karmic stuff going on and you just decide to turn around, go away and never call that person again, you did not learn that lesson, you did not learn that karma, and that karma is going to stick around in your layers of shadow work and of stuff. So you're not a pure channel. Childhood traumas, lots of that stuff. Family, our parents, our brothers, our sisters, we gotta let go, make amends, balance that, find a place, forgive ourselves, forgive them. Lots of stuff. There's a lot of work to do, right? And all of this work comes before helping others. Or you've done quite a bit of this, and at the same time, while helping others, this is a daily practice. Strengthening ourselves. So we're also clearing ourselves, but we also have to strengthen our energy. How can we strengthen it? Well, meditation, we clear our canvas. We strengthen our light through different breath work, meditative practices, opening up our heart space, working on our hiring our frequency. That helps us strengthen our lights, strengthen ourselves. When we are of a lower frequency, and we're not strong, and we're getting rid of all these different traumas and difficulties, then all these fears and phobias and anxieties that can come up, and it's going to give us a harder time to deal and clear our canvas. It won't be as beneficial, but at the same time as we let go of stuff, and we also strengthen ourselves by doing daily yoga, by doing a morning routine, by doing meditation, by deprogramming our subconscious mind, all of these things, we're strengthening ourselves, and thus then all of this clearing will go easier and quicker and funner, and you'll laugh about it. For those who are like, yeah, right, laugh about it, I swear, you'll hit a point where it's all a beautiful game play and you'll laugh about it. And you'll see the amazing ride that it is. But you have to, you have to go through that hard stickiness to get there. It does get better. It does. So we're working on everything always on 3 aspects. We have a body, mind, and soul, or body, spirit, and soul. We have to work on all of these aspects on our feminine, masculine side and humanity side. 3rd dimension, 4th dimension, and 5th dimension. On all aspects, right? We cannot just work on our body because our body hurts. Our body may be hurting because we have emotional trauma put into the body that is manifesting in the liver. Now we have cancer. So we have to work on all aspects. Working on only on the soul part, spirit, mind part, or body part, that is a good start. That's a good start. We start with one of these. But we also work on the others. So predominantly, maybe, you started your journey with yoga and the body, body, mind, and soul, yoga works and all, but you started in one of these, but we want to work on all of them. And you might be working on one department more than another, but if we're only solely working on just the physical level, just the mind level, just the soul level, never on the other levels, that isn't as beneficial as well. But we can start with just working on the body level, and very soon when we start to feel good and we're strengthening ourselves and we're releasing some of our stuff, we start to want to work on the mind stuff, and one kind of evolves and they're connected. They will connect, right? So but to start off with, just choose one of those places and choose what works for you. Some people start their journey meditating. Some people start their journey just eating better. Some people just start their journey by taking sugar out of their diet. Some people start just by being vegetarian. Whatever it is, there's no wrong or right. There's only your unique way, your unique story, your specific road to roam. And enjoy it. And don't be bothered about what other people are doing, because this is your story. Okay. Going within, connecting to our truth, our soul family, our guides, our original origins. So the more we meditate, the more we date our guides, date our higher self, date that inspirational voice, God's voice, whatever works for you, your language around it. We need to go within. Take that time. We can only do this when we can come to stillness, when we just stop everything else, when we start to let go. Just stop worrying about everybody else and what the world is doing. Yes, there's a lot of hard in the world. There's a lot of people who aren't happy, but first take care of yourself so then you can help them, because helping yourself affects the whole. When you are full circle, now you can go out in the world and actually help everybody as well and be more active, because you are at your highest frequency, at your highest potential. And now it is easy for you to help 100 people like this. Okay, but first we got to work on ourselves. So going within and dating your guides, spending time instead of always making decisions with your conscious mind, to take a moment, take a breath. Is this the right decision? Should I be going here? Decisions you can make. Check in with yourself. Get to know yourself. Ask your guides, who are you? Hi, are you good for me? Are you bad for me? Hi, higher self, who are you? Hi, would you like to be here more oftenly with me? Make friends. It's like, now we're a little older, and remember perhaps some of us when we were younger, we had an imaginary friend. Well, right now, some of our guides and our higher selves and our true knowings, they're kind of like our imaginary friends. Now, if we want to make those friends not so imaginary and more real and have a clearer conversation and a better hotline to 100% of truth, we got to work on that relationship. And so we need to go within and strengthen that. A daily practice, every day, every moment. Everything I do, I also check in, not everything, but a lot of things that are important, I check in with my guides. I check in with higher sources. Is this correct or is this not correct? And then I, as a human, have free will to decide whether to listen or not, right? Doing nothing. Some of you may have had trouble this whole year because you feel like you haven't been doing anything. What the Matrix world says, doing something, accomplishment, earning 200,000 grand a year, getting a diploma. Being. We are beings and we just have to be. Doing nothing is already doing a lot. And to be able to do all of this clearing, to go within, to let go, we need to just be still for a moment. Because we've been running around, scattered, trying to always get to some destination, we forgot to just be still, and then the journey will build itself. Everything will come into place if it has to. You know you're on the right path if you want to do a project and suddenly all the people for the project, everything is just landing in place and it's effortless. It's effortless. Because you're not doing and you're not forcing anything. You're not planning. You're not making things happen. Things are happening because it's the right time and you've been guided and it's the right moment in time and you're listening to the signs of life. You're listening to your higher self. You're listening to your guides. You're listening to the harmonics, to the frequencies. Does that make sense? Okay, morning practice. For those of you who do not have a morning practice, it is so essential to have a morning practice. I'll do another video specifically about morning practice. Everybody's morning practice will be different. It is fruitful to have a morning practice that includes body, mind, and soul. For example, exercise on the body level, cleaning ourselves, showering, cleansing, self-massage. Self-care, body. Mind, meditation, deprogramming ourselves, clearing our mind, organizing our thoughts, putting the intention of what type of day it is, remembering who we are, all of these things in mind, going within our psyche. Self-hypnosis can be a really cool tool there, which is the same as meditation in many ways. Soul. On a soul level, what do you do? What is your passion? Are you a singer? Then sing. Are you a drawer? Then draw. Allow your soul passion to come out. Are you a writer? Write. Do these things in the morning when you just woke up. When we are asleep in dream time, we are in different dimensions. We wake up and we're suddenly here. Give yourself a slow pace to remember your body, to remember your mind, to remember your soul. See what you want to do. Don't pick up the phone. Leave it on airplane mode. Just stop everything. Just be with yourself. Don't talk to your partner, your family, your roommates. Just be in your own essence for a moment. Feel yourself. Do the things that make you feel good. So when you leave your morning practice, when you leave out to do your day, go to work, meet your friends, talk to your people, you are leaving the house or that space at the highest vibration that you can, because you've done your morning practice. You've done the things that keep you in a line, that keep you balanced. Every time we leave the house without doing those things, we are not leaving the house 100% of our potential. Maybe 50, maybe 20. We're scattered. And then we say to ourselves, oh, I'll do that later. I'll do exercises this evening or that. But then, the day, life happens. Emergencies happen, people need help, we get tired, we get stressed out, demotivated, and then the day ends and we haven't done that. By doing these things in the morning before starting anything else, you've done them, and no matter what you do during that day, even if you do nothing during that day, you've already done your morning practice, which may include meditation, breath work, pranayama, yoga, writing. It may just include, resting. It may just include laying down. It doesn't have to include meditation, yoga. It's all particular in your way. It may include 2 hours of playing guitar. Whatever it is for you that works. And every day, we're a little different. Every day, our routine may not look the same because we aren't the same every day. There's different frequencies, different resonances, the stars are aligned differently, our moods are different, and thus our morning practice will be a little different every day. Maybe one day we do 2 hours of singing, and another day we do half an hour of self-healing, and another day we do half an hour of a little bit of everything. Another day we do 3 hours of dancing. up to you. Okay? What works for you specifically. Don't let anybody tell you how it should or shouldn't be. Connect to your higher sources, your truth. If it's comfortable for you to meditate with your feet behind, your neck and sit in the bathtub, then that works for you. Don't let anyone tell you it doesn't. That's what's comfortable for you. I don't know what's comfortable for you. I'm not in your body. Then do that. Right? Okay. Selfness. Just stop the external, like just during this period. Next year's expansion, we're going to be dealing with a lot of different people and their stuff, and we want to be as strong as we can, in service as we can. So just right now, it's a really good time to just stop all the external stuff. Just bring it in a moment. Just take care of yourself, your closest circles, and don't run around the world. All right. Collective consciousness. I spoke about that, how we are all affecting the collective consciousness. We are not separate. Anything else I want to mention here right now? No, not right now. So I think this is all for now. Please leave me questions about, which subjects you may want to hear more about. I will be releasing more videos about these kind of things. I think I'll do a live channeling later this week. I'll make the appointment soon. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for receiving us, for receiving me, your higher self. And have a beautiful and wonderful day. Yeah.